Hey guys, Ben here. Welcome back to another live stream. Today we are live for episode 101. We're here with Andy and Chainsaw Reacts. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me once again on another live stream.
Thank you for having.
Is it episode 101?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you do for episode 100?
That was just last week's stream.
Yeah, had us on again.
Yeah. I didn't
anything?
mention it. I don't know why I forgot to mention it, but yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh,
that's a big milestone, you know?
You goofball. Jesus.
Yeah, we've been live streaming for a while. I remember I did some random ones back in the day, like 2017. I know that's not that long ago, but
yeah,
back when I started the channel. But then I really got into it like kind of pandemic, like just before. Yeah. So anyway, welcome guys.
I was streaming back during Google Hangouts when that was a thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And they're still up on the channel. Yeah, it's crazy.
Is Google Hangouts even still around at this point?
I don't know.
I think
Good
so.
question. Probably not in the same format that it is now. Yeah.
Yeah. But welcome to everyone that is live with us watching in the chat. We're gonna definitely be taking some of your questions today. So if you obviously super chats is the best way to get your questions answered, as always. And I appreciate your support if you do send in super chats, but we will be going through the chat a little bit towards the end of the stream. So if you have any like cool topics that you guys want us to talk about, any theories or anything like that, we'll be sure to answer you guys. But yeah, we have a bunch of topics. Well, not too many actually, like really 3 main topics and then like one maybe like briefly we'll talk about. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So let's first talk about this. I didn't get your thoughts on this last week. I don't remember when this came out, but so there is this Flash podcast coming out, this new Flash podcast series. Have you guys read into it? Because it totally came out of nowhere and it actually seems pretty cool, although it's a podcast. And I know people are very kind of stingy. They're like, oh, we want to see a TV show. We want to see another film. So what do you guys think of that? Did you hear about it?
I heard about it. I don't know too much about it. So I know they cast somebody, right, to voice Barry Allen.
The guy,
yeah,
Max Greenfield from New Girls.
Max Greenfield, yeah.
He was Schmidt. If that makes any reference to you at all.
He was also in Promising Young Woman.
Okay.
Did you see that film?
No idea. Okay, so is it like traditional like Barry Allen and Rogues?
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff?
Barry Allen. It's called The Flash Escape the Midnight Circus. It's basically this like Andy, is it like 5 or 6 episodes? I'm totally blanking. I'm trying to find it right here.
So here's the thing. So me and my co on the Flash podcast, we didn't find out about this until like a few days ago.
No, me too. Yeah,
and like it's worse because we should be the ones like keeping up with it. But I was like, what the hell is this? But
like it really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, right? I don't know. It came out of nowhere, and like again, like first we were even questioning whether or not this was real to begin with because we were like, wait, why is Max Greenfield doing this? Yeah. Why is he Barry? Because again, I love Max Greenfield to death. He is not Barry Allen, and he does not have that voice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But also, like, why are we again? I don't know if they necessarily know how to. Like if we still, I don't know if DC has figured out the whole like podcast, storytelling through podcasting
thing.
They
Sandman.
They did a Sandman, but that's not so. But that's like, it is DC, but it's kind of like not really the main DC that we're used to. So
there's a Batman audio not like I guess a podcast, but it's like a Batman story told through audio that was up on I think Spotify. HBO Max, and I think it was up on a podcast format. I know
Spotify.
So, yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's probably why they're doing this, because they're just testing to see if they can. Because I'm guessing that was successful enough for them to go and get an actual, like somebody who you may recognize from a show or a movie to voice, because they can easily just get voice people and just do like an audio storytelling. But they're going out to get him. It's sure interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's personally not for me. I probably won't listen to it, but the idea of like, hey, we're gonna, because okay, another movie we're seeing how bad the one in theaters is
We're
doing.
gonna talk about, yeah.
We don't need another movie, but I think this is interesting for people that like this kind of format, because people like different types of entertainment. So this is probably going to reach a certain audience that will like this. So that's good.
Yeah. For me, like Andy said, it was, completely out of nowhere. I never heard of it. Like, I saw the Flash escape the Midnight Circus. I was like, what? And at first I thought, is this, like fake, like you guys were saying? But then it turned out it was an actual podcast, and I was like, interesting. Like, I wouldn't have thought The Flash as a podcast, which I think a lot of people are thinking, because you're like, okay, so is this supposed to be like tied into the Flash film, considering they're releasing, relatively close between each other? This podcast is coming out on July 10th, so that's in 6 days' time, the first 2 episodes, and then it'll be airing like every week after that. On Apple Podcasts, it'll be releasing. So yeah, definitely took me by surprise. Those of you in the chat, were you expecting this? Were you expecting any sort of Flash content? Definitely wasn't expecting anything for a while. But yeah, basically, it's interesting. I'm going to read out the synopsis for those of you guys that are interested. Even, if I think we should all give at least one episode a go. I don't know. It will be interesting. So it goes like this. Barry Allen is at the height of his powers and fame, firmly... I can't say that word. Basically, he's Central City's favorite hero. But when being the Flash forces him to let Iris down one time too many, she decides to call it quits. Oh, that's right.
Oh,
West Allen fans. Undeterred, Barry figures he can use the Speed Force to go back in time and set things right. So just like last point. But something goes wrong. Barry tumbles into a new dimension, finding himself in a small bedroom with Captain Cold. His powers are gone. Cold tells Barry that he's an unwitting participant in a televised tournament, the Midnight Circus, which pits humans, superheroes, and rogues against one another in a life or death game of chance. Survive the competition and Barry earns his freedom, recreate the conditions of his original transformation, and return to his own timeline. But to do so, he'll have to rely solely on his wits. And if that wasn't hard enough, he soon finds himself facing his toughest opponent yet, Iris West. Thoughts? First thoughts hearing that synopsis. Sounds very Flashpointy.
Okay, Jordan, hold your thought. I need to rant. This sounds like fucking Hunger Games, but for DC. Like, what the fuck is this?
It literally does sound like that. It's literally like
what
a game.
The Christ? I'm sorry. What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck?
And Andy, as a Iris and Barry fan, like, I was shocked when I read this. Like, is literally Iris calls it quits. Like, oh my god, what has Barry done? Obviously this is a different TV show, but yeah, it's I don't know, like, it feels very gimmicky. Like, they've basically done Flashpoint, been like, okay, let's kind of link it to the film, have Barry go back in time, and then like somehow make him end up in this like Midnight Circus, which is like a televised tournament, like the Hunger Games, like Andy just said. Chainsaw, what's your reaction?
Boo! This sucks. This sounds stupid. When you first read the title, my first thought, oh, sounds like a fan film. And then here, I definitely am not interested at all, because this sounds stupid. Because Iris, in any sort of continuity of Barry Allen, knows how important Barry's life is in terms of being the Flash and being this hero in Central City, no matter how long he's been doing it. So the idea of like her just calling it quits on him just sounds so stupid, and it sounds like they're just trying to come up with drama when they could find other means to do that. And then him getting stuck doing this game of chance, it just doesn't make any sense, because how would this happen if he's going back in time to fix his mistakes? How all of a sudden would he pop up in a room with Captain Cold? And it just makes no sense. It literally just sounds like, well, we have to get him there somehow. Well, they could have done something else, like some being or the one controlling the game breaks through reality and then forces Barry through a portal or something, that would make more sense than him traveling back and then getting stuck in it just makes no sense. It's stupid.
Yeah, it feels like they've come up with the concept of the Midnight Circus and they're like, okay, how do we get him to the Midnight Circus?
No.
The problem with this is also the fact that Flash is a very visual medium. Like for me, like, there's nothing engaging of having to listen to a speedster. I'm like, ooh, ooh, he just ran. How visually stunning, you know? How audiotistically stunning that is. So for me, like I'm like something like Batman is more works because you can make it a mystery. He's a detective and stuff like that. But with Barry, you have like it. He's a fucking speedster. He runs. You need to look what he's doing. So I just.
Green Arrow would probably be a better story because it's more grounded. I think this idea of audio only, it needs to be
you cannot do that for Superman, for example.
Well, there's no Superman. Basically, it works better with non-meta heroes. Here's a good one. The Question should get a podcast. That'd be amazing.
That
cool. Or John Constantine, right? Like, but when you're like, okay, let's use a meta that we need to, like, I'm guessing they're gonna have sound effects for when he runs.
Yeah, they do.
So.
Yeah, anyway, so in the trailer, basically, you hear the sound effects. You know, it sounds like the Flash. But the main problem, like you just said, Andy, is they've also figured out a way, or how can we have no Barry with powers? Because he's not going to have powers throughout the whole thing. He has to recreate the experiment, just like in Flashpoint. So
then don't call it the Flash.
Yeah.
Call it Barry Allen.
Or how about we just don't do this story
just don't do it all. Just don't even do it. Or tell a different story where he has his powers. Because it's audio, right? That there's no budget to add in sound effects for Barry running or using his powers. It just sounded like they were lazy. Let's just not have the extra work of adding in him throwing lightning or running really fast. Let's just have him do a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that pretty sums up like my opinions too. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll give one episode a watch, but you're right. It does sound like a fan fiction kind of thing where it's like, okay, well, what happens if like Iris kind of went away from Barry and like, oh, maybe there's this Hunger Games, like the Flash Hunger Games, ooh, you know, DC Hunger Games
crossover.
Crossover. But that pretty much does it for that. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple of these super chats that have been sent in. Thank you, Atlantic Ocean, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Atlantic says, Sasha is freaking awesome as Supergirl. In interviews, she has said how much she loved bringing her to life and learning / doing all the fight / stunt scenes. Do you believe she can be her again in the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow movie? I think we might have addressed this like 2 weeks ago or something in a stream. And like I have said before, I really want Sasha to come back as Supergirl. I don't know how likely it is, but I really liked what she did in the Flash film. And I said this before, I think this is definitely one of her best, one of the, best things about the Flash film is what I'm trying to say. So what do you guys think, Chainsaw?
I've been saying I think it's possible just because the storyline they're telling, it's not like this version of Kara is on Earth with Clark, right? She's out on broken piece of Krypton. So realistically, it can be anybody, right? So we just, of course, got cast Superman. We have David as Superman.
Yeah.
So realistically, it doesn't have to be a traditional Supergirl because obviously they didn't go traditional Supergirl in this Flash movie. So realistically, it could be anybody. So I feel James will probably maybe keep her, but also at the same time, he's also the guy going, well, we're rebooting most things, but we're keeping some. It's like, but with this movie, obviously a lot of things changed in post-production in terms of endings and what was shown and what was cut. So it's possible, I'm holding out hope. I hope because I feel like she deserves more of a chance because what we did see of her was good. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah. Andy?
No, I mean, I've said it myself, like, even though she didn't get much to do, like, it's like I'm still left intrigued enough where I'm like, I would not mind seeing another film with her, especially with her being like the lead. 'Cause that's, for example, like here's a great example. I didn't care much for John Cena as Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad, but when I watch a show, I'm like, oh, now this is actually interesting. So it's more about, again, like where they're using these characters. If they're a supporting character in someone, if they're using, if they're a supporting character in someone's story, and then they're not necessarily always going to shine, and they're not going to be standing out as much because they're not the lead. But if they are in their own product, then it becomes obviously easier. But yeah, I mean, again, this is why it's so weird to call it a reboot when he's like, well, I'm bringing back Viola Davis as a Manowar, I'm bringing back John Cena as Peacemaker, I'm bringing back, I mean, again, for all we know, there could be other people that they're bringing back that we haven't heard of yet. But it's just like, if you can make that happen, the least you can do, I think, bring Sasha back as Supergirl, and again, like because obviously, she, they tried out like hundreds or if not thousands of actresses for this film, for the Flash, and she stood out. There has to be a reason she stood out. So let's see what she can do if she's the if she's the lead.
I just had an idea.
What?
Playing Supergirl.
Yes. No. So we see where Barry goes back in time in the Flash movie in
which time?
Well, at the end of the movie.
Of course.
And change the timeline. Mm-hmm. Now, what they could do hypothetically is if they want to show, okay, this is the same, but not really, is that we see
doppelganger.
We see her perspective during the Flash movie, and all of a sudden, like, the world shifts, and then all of a sudden everything's like bleaked out of existence.
Yeah.
And then we see where Kara's born on Krypton, and then she's raised in the Krypton explosion. And then it gets to the point where it's her again. And maybe there's something to where maybe this version of the storyline, she actually has her memories of her past life or something. I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, just to wait, because I think that's the one thing they got to get over the hurdles. People are going to be like, is this the same Kara from the movie? So if they find a way to,
I think it would hurt, honestly.
It could, yeah.
Because I feel like at this point, like, we just need to detached, be detached from everything that's come before. Again, just have her play her own doppelganger,
Yeah.
And again, she doesn't know anything about, like, this Kara has never experienced the Flash. She's never experienced Flashpoint or anything like that. So it's just, I think that's just the easier way to go about it.
The way they also could help too is obviously they're going to change her actual suit. So that's going to show, because right now in the Flash movie, she's wearing a version of Cavill's. Yeah. So they just change that and have that heavily in the marketing. This is a different, Supergirl with a different suit or whatever. And maybe they change her hairstyle maybe in the first movie so that it shows more of a difference there as well.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because her hair is growing out again, because, she cut her hair for this part, so maybe this Kara could have longer hair, again. Because the thing is, like, Supergirl doesn't have to be blonde. Like, she doesn't. And this is kind of what's so funny. It's like, Clark has black hair, but Kara is his blonde cousin. But I'm just like, wouldn't it make more sense if his cousin also had black hair to be technical?
Because people are making that connection, saying, hey, couldn't they just keep her?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And also, if you've read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, Andy, have you?
No, but Jordan actually bought it for me because Jordan did not like the fact that I don't read a lot of books. So one day I just opened up. Hold on, I will show what he threw into my inbox. 1 second, give me 1 second.
Well, anyway, what I was saying is I really like Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I read it when it came out. Thought it was really cool. Kara is very disheveled in it, so potentially it could go.
So these three just landed in my inbox the one day, and like I call, I'm like, why? And he was like, because I'm worried about the lack of reading you're doing. So if this will actually get you to read, because I told him, like, I won't read books with just text in it. He's like, will you do it with pictures? So yeah, I have a Woman of Tomorrow right here. I think Jordan, you got the last copy in.
I got the last copy at my store. Yeah,
after the
I got a copy too. I was kind of lucky. I got in before.
We know you did because we know you got it because you're a superstar.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, but Ben wants to be Supergirl. Like, he wants to put on a wig. He wants to put on the skirt.
Do you just want to make the announcement now that you're the DCU Supergirl?
Yeah, James Gunn. He's reached out. Do you want to be the new Supergirl?
Cara with a British accent. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you're gonna have a British Supergirl now. Come on, guys, get excited. No, I think, having read the series, I'm pretty sure Sasha suits it. Even though, yes, it's not your typical blonde Supergirl, just like you see in the show, in the comic book. But I don't think that matters at the end of the day. It's a Supergirl story. You're just gonna take it with whatever adaptation you're gonna have. What are you laughing at?
Can you read Nathan's comment?
Oh my
You
god!
guys haven't seen Ben's OnlyFans, have you? Wow, Nathan trying to expose me live on the live stream. Wow, Nathan.
It's getting
Come
hot
on.
in here.
Guys, there's no.
Wait, Jordan, can we say OnlyFans on YouTube without getting in trouble?
I think
That's
so.
okay. We're 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
But anyway, Atlantic Ocean, thanks for the super chat. That's our thoughts and opinions. I think it's likely, but yeah, James Gunn's gonna have to kind of figure out what he's doing, because he is keeping a bunch of people from the DCEU, and people are definitely gonna continue to ask questions. And so if he's saving some, why can't he save Supergirl? Atlantic sends in another super chat. Thank you once again. Atlantic says, I do feel bad for Sasha that the Flash movie hasn't done as well as WB hoped for. I really hope it won't hurt / affect her career. I think if anything, everyone has come out saying she's really good as Supergirl.
No.
And I think her chances of getting that new Supergirl film is quite high. Like, 60,
and hey, let's think about it this
70%.
way: if Anson Mount, if his career survived in Humans, I'm sure Sasha can survive the Flash. And I think the Flash isn't as hated or like as big of a failure as people are saying. Yeah, financially, it's a failure, but it's like.
Yeah.
It's
not
like it is a good
film,
movie. It's a good movie. So it's like I think she'll be fine. And that's why again there has to be a reason why Peter Safran had a meeting with her. So it's
That's true.
But I think we're years off away. I don't think they're going to start on Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow for because
not
I think
for a
obviously
while.
they're probably because I think if I had to guess the lineup, I'm guessing The Authority comes after Superman Legacy, and then we do Batman.
Yeah.
And then maybe after that's Supergirl. But
once they start kicking into gear, I mean, I'm assuming we'll get 2 films a year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. The Authority, the Authority might not be in 2025, but they might do that as like a year-end, like October, November release, hypothetically for the Authority, and then Brave and the Bold, 2026, Supergirl, maybe in the summer. I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
Supergirl is a summer movie. I feel like Batman should be like Batman. I feel for something it's an October movie.
The Batman did really good in its March release.
In March, yeah.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, I think Batman works.
But what if it made $1 billion during October, Jordan?
Oh my God! Then I think it's possible, right? Well, it also depends
on Joker.
It also depends on the storyline, right? Because the Batman could have worked anywhere. Obviously, I think with its darker tone, it could have worked better as a horror element in October, but. It still, was really successful, but I think that's the exception. Batman's the exception. Anywhere you put it, it's going to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I agree. So I feel the same, Atlantic. I feel bad for Sasha, but at the same time, it's definitely not going to ruin her career or anything. But talking about the Flash, so the Flash passed 100 million domestically. That means in America, just this week. Any surprise, guys? I don't know. It's kind of like a little relief that it didn't like absolutely tank. I mean, it did
still
tank.
But it should have made over 100 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
It should not have waited this long to break 100 million.
Yeah, it should have at least gone like
at least 110 opening weekend. I mean, that's what it was projected at one point, was over 100.
When was that? Was that a while ago?
Yeah. And then it's kept dropping.
What did it actually do opening weekend? Like, and then
55,
I know the other day
55 million.
Yeah.
And then a little over 60
for the 4 day. 1 point something. Was it over a whole weekend? It did like 1 point something million.
Let's look at Box Office Mojo.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not
I wonder what made more money in 1 week, the Flash movie or the CW?
So worldwide, the movie has now made 245 million. It still hasn't even gotten close to its marketing and all that. Over the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it made about $1 million. It made $1,400,000 on Friday, Saturday $1.9 million, $1.8 million on Sunday. So about $4 or $5 million this past weekend.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Woohoo!
And it's been taken out of a bunch of cinemas.
It's already lost. It's at 2,700 theaters right now.
Remember that time when Tom Cruise said he apparently loved the Flash movie?
Didn't do shit.
Now he takes it back.
Okay. Here's how bad it. Here's just on talking about July 4th, which is today. The estimate. The Little Mermaid that came out in May is projected to make more money than the Flash that came out in June.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's not
Across the Spider-Verse is projected to make $4 million today.
Just in one day. Wow. But like we said last week, that just goes to show the quality of Across the Spider-Verse. Like, people are coming back and back and back, and they're recommending it to everyone.
Yeah, because Across Spider-Verse has broke 600 million.
It's doing good. Like, yeah. Well, I'm happy for like Across the Spider-Verse and bummed for the Flash, but at the same time, I guess it is what it is, and it's just a wake-up call for DC at the end of the day. Like, seeing Shazam and then the Flash not doing well back to back, it's like, okay, what do we do now? Like, well, now clearly they're just waiting for James Gunn, hoping that it's going to work with, the new DCU. But we still got Blue Beetle in August, and then we.
And you all better fucking watch it. You better fucking watch that movie. Yeah, exactly.
You talking to the chat right now?
I am talking to everyone and their mothers. You're all gonna watch Blue Beetle because you all fucked over Black Adam. If you don't go see Blue Beetle, I'm calling you all racist.
I'll be seeing it on the Thursday preview screening when it comes
out. Good.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll definitely be seeing it.
I don't care if you get COVID, Jordan, you're going to see that film. I'm gonna be so toxic from now up till the film's release when it comes to Blue Beetle. Like, if y'all don't go fucking see it,
I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna do well.
Fuck you.
I'm just telling you because that's the track record of DC. This is why our whole show on Friday is about all this.
I believe in the power of the Cobra Kai fandom and the Bruna fans from Brazil. Like, I think is it gonna make $1 billion? No, but if this movie gets to $300 or $400 million by the end of its box office,
that's a win.
That's a win. Yeah. And then that means that we get a sequel, and that means that most of you guys are not racist. So
box office is 120 million to make. So if they keep the marketing low but are effective with their marketing, yes.
We should be getting another trailer this month, I think.
Should. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if we can trust them to keep the cost super low because
that's true.
Track record again.
They spent so much. Yeah, they spent like what, 150 million on marketing for Flash, I think.
That's insane. It's insane. You should nowhere near be.
No.
So here's what I'm saying: that if you guys are willing to pay for mediocre 4 movies and whatnot, and shitty Ant-Man movies, then you can spend money on a good Blue Beetle movie. So.
Well, let's be honest. We don't know if it's good or not. I'm just playing devil's advocate. We don't know if it's actually good. We're hoping it's
just because he's brown, Jordan.
I've said that about a lot of movies. We don't know if anything's actually going to be good. We don't know. We all thought The Flash was going to be this amazing 10 out of 10, and look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm completely shocked that it did this bad. Like, I thought it would easily get 400 million at least, But it is what it is, and it's not been doing very well. I really hope Blue Beetle does really well. Like you guys said.
Otherwise, I will leave the internet.
I know. And he's gonna, super.
I will quit Endless Multiverse. I will never go on anyone's YouTube channel ever again.
Wow.
I will never drop any more scoops or hints for anyone.
Well, we need. I guess we need to do a wrap-up show before the Blue Beetle comes out, just in case.
Yeah. If you all fuck him over,
it's gonna be the end of Andy, guys.
No, it's not good.
Oh, it's gonna be the end of all of us. I mean, sorry.
It will be, because you all fucked over Black Adam. Like, you did not.
I went and saw the movie.
Not
I saw
you.
it Thursday night.
Oh my god!
I went and saw it like 3 times.
Oh, you goofballs! I'm not you.
I know.
I mean, the proverbial you. Like, Jesus Christ. Go fucking see Blue Beetle, everyone. August 18th in theaters everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, just okay. Let's briefly talk about.
Ben is like, I'm like, Ben is like, I'm never inviting Andy.
What are we talking about?
We'll continue to talk about Flash a bit. So weird thing happened. So I don't know the ins and outs, but Ezra Miller just commented the other day on, you know, I don't know. Do you guys know what's going on? Like, did he have a restraining order that
First of all, day.
Yeah, Ezra there was a restraining order thing, but then Ezra's refuting it, or refuting a lot of things.
Hold up, I will bring up the statement. Hold on.
Yeah, because what was the point about? Because I think there was something about where they had a restraining order against Ezra, or something,
and it was lifted in light of allegations. There were allegations against Ezra on that. I think that parent's front, but Ezra posted the following statement on 3 days ago. I'm encouraged by today's outcome. I'm very grateful in this moment and everyone who has stood beside me and sought to ensure that this Egrian's misuse of the protective order system was halted. Protective orders are meant to provide safety for individuals, families, and children who are in danger. They're not meant to be used as weapons by those seeking attention or fleeing tabloid fame or some sort of personal vengeance when there are people in true and dire need of these services. I have been unjustly and directly targeted by an individual who the facts have shown has a history of such manipulative and destructive actions. I implore those members of the media who have recklessly spread false claims and failed to accurately report the truth and context of the story to hold themselves to a higher standard and take the time to find the facts rather than chasing the clicks. On the personal note, I want everyone to know that I'm continuing to do my best to preserve my own wellness and what I can do to reserve the collateral damage this ordeal has brought upon me and those close to me. Finally, to all you many beings in this world who have had the enormous courage to see me through it all and make it here with me, I'll spend a long time trying to explain to you what it is meant to have your support. You have my undying gratitude, admiration, and love, Ezra.
So, thoughts?
I think Ezra is being smart because
he seems to be.
Because there was a whole thing a while about why hasn't Ezra
commented?
Yeah, said anything, and I think it's because there's already enough damage surrounding the movie. You have to wait till it's been out for quite a bit, and I think that restraining order lift was recent, so that's why this response came out now. Ezra's not exactly, denying certain things, but also is denying other things in terms of the statement about what is and is not true. We obviously have video evidence of some of the things that Ezra has done or associated with. So I think ultimately it's a situation we're never going to really know the full facts about. And I think it's going to be a while before we can kind of, move on from it. Because it's always going to be on topic of discussion when you talk about Ezra, is all this stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely, they are definitely being smart about it. I agree. Like, I don't want to go into too much detail about what exactly has gone down because I don't know all the details. But I think what is out there online and that is concrete, is enough to ruin his reputation, and it already has, obviously. There is still the question of, is Ezra the reason that the film, tanked in the end? I don't think that's true. I don't think that is. I don't know.
I think it's a mixture of things. I think it's a combination of things. I don't think there can only be one reason for a thing to succeed or fail.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a whole mixture of things. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it exactly because it's still quite a shock that, it's not been doing good at all. Not even 300 million yet. You would have supposed that it would have done pretty decent, but yeah. So I don't know. Now Ezra's coming out, obviously, with this sort of, not an apology. It's I don't know. Anyway, some sort of message, and
it's clear. It's about clearing their name, and
trying to clear their name.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is what it is. Andy, you got any more comments? I don't really have much more comments.
No, when it comes to the whole situation with Ezra, I have just, I don't like to talk too much about it because again, I don't think we have all the facts. I don't think I don't think everything that Ezra's been accused of is true. I think there is definitely, a target on their back. Again, I think it's a complex situation, and again, like I've said and it's multiverse, I've said on the podcast, that I'm wishing for nothing but the right actions to be taken for everyone, so that everyone can heal and recover from this, and that justice will be served. Basically, and
is that comment, that Tricopedia's comment about the director's wife? I don't think it's the director's sister, dumping on Grant Gustin and saying he wasn't a good Flash.
I don't think Barbara ever said that.
That was actually Andy Muschietti who just said, "Oh, Ezra will always be the Flash, like the main Flash."
No. Let me say no. What he exactly said was, there's no one that can play this particular version of Barry Allen. There was no one. Like, Grant's name never even got mentioned. He was just.
Well, people just assumed.
People assume.
Yeah.
Wait, it's the internet, Jordan. Like, that's what they always.
What? Do. No, this is not the internet. This is not the internet. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's no. Like, Grant's name has never even been mentioned. Like, as in, like, we don't like him, or it's with so.
Of course, Grant's been named by mentioned. They didn't bring Grant to film. They didn't cameo. Nothing. Whatever. That's so stupid.
Okay, how about let's move on and talk about a topic that's very interesting, and you guys in the chat will be probably interested to do because it could have some impact on the future. But for now, I just want to remind you guys, if you are tuning in or you're new here, please be sure to send in super chats if you want to be answered by us throughout the live stream, and also send in comments in the chat, and like Dracopedia will pay attention and try and pick out some good ones. But yeah, in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about HBO. So it was announced, it was actually like, there was a report like maybe a week or 2 weeks ago that HBO was in talks with Netflix to license shows. Well, now it's official that the first show has been confirmed. Insecure is now streaming on Netflix. I know you have some thoughts on this, Chainsaw. Do you want to go first?
Okay, so first of all,
take cover, Ben, because this is.
Let me amend his comment there. It wasn't HBO. Warner Bros. Discovery is forcing this. They're the ones wanting to license HBO to Netflix or certain content. They're not going to license Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. Don't worry, people. They're not going to get the big shit. They're just going to get the stuff that the HBO quietly, like Warner Bros. Wants to quietly get rid of. Earn more money, right? Because it didn't come out like a week and a half ago. Warner Bros. Discovery is potentially looking at selling off like their music library, or at least older music library they have, for like $500 million or something. Like older music they just don't really market anymore. They're trying to sell assets.
Yep.
It's like they are looking any which way to get rid of shit or earn money off it. In this case, we already made the product. Netflix will pay us to air it for a while. So we're going to get rid of some of the shows that aren't really doing that well, but Netflix will pick them, because as we know with Netflix, people are constantly just searching around for stuff, and then they'll just discover a new show. Of course, they'll promote it when it gets added as new release, all that. So it's basically a version of what Warner Brothers is basically doing with Amazon, where they gave them the Cape Crusader, Batman. They're giving them other things. Potentially that could turn into a thing where if Warner Brothers wants to make a new animated show, Amazon might have first dibs on getting it on the service, which is great for us because at least we still get the content, but it's also proving that Warner Brothers isn't trying to be exclusive with their content. They just don't give a shit. And I think it's going to hurt them in the long run, because instead of them actually profiting off of the content that they actually own, Netflix is going to be benefiting from this. Amazon's going to be benefiting because Amazon's going to benefit heavily from that new Batman show when it comes out. And if Netflix is picking up HBO shows, like, instead of like, well, I don't have to pay for Max. Like, why do I have to pay $15 for Max when I can just pay for Netflix and get these HBO shows on here? They're not going to get everything, but you get the point. It's a slippery slope to where eventually Warner Bros. Is going to sell anything. If they can make money, they're going to get rid of it. And this whole thing is a disaster, because ever since Zaslav took over Discovery, it has completely shifted Warner Brothers' like legacy and how they did not sell off their shit. And now we see other companies doing it too. Paramount got rid of a bunch of stuff off of Paramount Plus to save money. it just got reported a movie that let's be honest, not many people heard about it, but a movie went to Disney Plus on May 12th and was just removed due to cost cutting reasons.
That's crazy. That's
It's
such a new film.
It's insane how this is the new landscape.
Yeah, it's like, you know, oh, we have a certain amount of, you know, storage, and so, you know,
and that's funny because Netflix doesn't get rid of shit. If you notice, if it's their actual original content, not licensed out, and they have the Netflix original, but it's actually theirs, they never get rid of it. It's always there. So this whole thing of we don't have the bandwidth, sure.
Yeah, it's valuable to keep, you know, the shows on there. Like, that's why people like Netflix. They're like, oh, I can go back and binge watch that show that I really liked, you know? But yeah, I pretty much agree with you. It's like definitely going to eventually degrade their image, despite it being initially cool that we're going to get, you know, like Batman on Amazon, you know, an animated show that could have been scrapped and never actually made on Max. That's cool, right? But in the long run, I think you're right. Like, them selling everything that they can to different streaming services and everything is definitely going to like downgrade, and like people are going to look at them differently in the future. And so with this, yeah, it's cool that Insecure, which a lot of people I'm sure haven't seen since it's just HBO, now it's going to Netflix, it will be more accessible. But that only benefits Netflix. So in the long run, or even in the short run, yeah, they're making some money by licensing it. But people, you're right. They're gonna be like, oh, this show's on Netflix. Like, oh, let's just get Netflix instead of HBO. Instead of Max.
Yeah, because like if you're paying for Max, you really don't use it that much. But you start seeing stuff get thrown over from HBO onto Netflix.
It's likely other stuff will come.
Yeah, right? Like because there's already rumored there was like a list of shows that were potentially going to be doing this move. So it's like if you're paying for Max, you don't really use it, and you have Netflix, and you're noticing these shows going to HBO or to Netflix. Like, so do I want to pay for Max? Like, is it actually going to benefit me to save money and just get rid of Max so I could just stick with Netflix? You know, it's just it's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
Andy, any thoughts on this? Or
I'm so fucking tired of this company.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. Like, I feel like it's like every week, this is all it is. Something has happened, discovered to the point where like at last week there was a fire at WB Studios, and it's like I'm like, oh my god, this is like, you know, again, I'm glad no one was hurt, but he was like, oh my god, like the universe is actually trying to manifest what we're all feeling. It's a shit show over there right now.
Yeah, and it literally blew up. literally blew up. Warner Brothers blew up.
Well, the thing is, Warner Brothers Discovery has made it to the point now, if you're in the industry of working on television movies, obviously there's a writer's strike because obviously that, you know, that's, but if you're in this industry and you potentially are working on a show or movie that is going to be a streaming project, there is no guarantee that that will stay on there.
That is going to survive.
That it will survive budget cutting reasons or cost cutting or potentially a tax write-off situation. Like, I wouldn't want to be working.
I'm so fucking tired of taxes. I'm so fucking tired. Like, you know, like I don't, you know, I pay my taxes, but at this point, like, I'm so sick of that. Like, that this is the concept of like, it's you know, it's like, you know, I'm just gonna say, I hope that Batgirl movie leaks. I hope so.
I think it will. Yeah.
I hope so. I really hope so. Just to like.
Well, Trekkipedia has a good point too. Like the Adventures of Superman, it's the first solo animated film in a long time, and it's like, yeah, like Max is benefiting that because it's airing on Adult Swim, which they own, and then it's gonna be on Max. How come, for some stupid reason, that Batman animated show, The Cape Crusader, just like let's scrap it or let's move it somewhere else? Why would they keep this and not the other? Like, it does, because like they literally, Max could have benefited The Cape Crusader if it aired on Adult Swim as well. And then Max like this. I just don't understand the logic of why we keep Superman but not a Batman show.
I'm not sure. I think they're making quick decisions based on money and taxes and everything. And I'm
pretty sure Amazon's like, we'll give you a lot of money for licensing for that thing. You
And
make
they're
it,
like, oh
we'll
yeah,
have it.
money, give me.
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking. It's just all dollar signs for them right now. Obviously, we know that they're in like huge amounts of debts, and I just think these moves, yeah, you're gonna make some money, but like at the end of the day, you're barely putting a dent into what you're trying to make back. And I guess David Zaslav is just trying to take the monetary part of Warner Brothers like in a kind of upwards direction, but at the same time, your content's gonna flatline or go down, right?
I think this also might be an effect on the fact that their box office return this year has not been good. So
I mean,
they're
what was
making.
their best so far?
I don't even know. I think
Maybe
Shazam,
Barbie will be good.
If Barbie might be the saving grace, but that
Can you imagine if Barbie is the box office?
Imagine Barbie
year,
makes $1
but
billion.
none of their DC movies was even.
They're saying Barbie's going to make between 80 to 100 million domestic. If that's the case, opening weekend, that's a disaster for where DC is right now, because the Flash can't even make 70, right? Can't even make 80 in the lower end. But I think that might be part of it. Also means Zaslav made a point where they're paying off a lot of debt, but I think that's the problem too. His focus is on all the debt, but that's also AT&T screw up from the past.
Yeah.
But you're also really hurting a lot of creatives that you could work with that will make you content that's worthy of keeping, but you're shunning them away.
You're scaring them away. Like it's like like if they ever get Christopher Nolan back,
why would he want to come back?
Benjamin, I'm making a point here. If they ever get Christopher Nolan back, they better kiss whatever fucking gods they believe in that he would be willing to come back. And I bet you that his lawyers, whatever contract they're going to make him sign, they're going to be like, we need these stipulations to be in there before, so that none of this can get, fuck us over.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, that's where we're at with HBO and everything right now.
If they need more money to just sell the rest of your ownership of the CW and sell,
there you go.
Let's get rid of CNN because who the fuck needs CNN?
Yeah.
And
well, Bullet, we actually took over. This is an extra episode of Endless Multiverse we're doing right now. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
Trekopedia says, if I was WB, I would have used my adventures with Superman and Batman the Cape Crusader to relaunch Kids WB as a tab or on Max.
Kids WB was never even big to
or
begin
even on
with.
Cartoon Network.
Well, so Andy, you've seen My Adventures Superman. Is it kid friendly or is it like families can enjoy it?
It's for all ages, but like I do think there's definitely like I don't know if that show would necessarily be. There's definitely things that would need to be edited out if it was on Cartoon Network.
Okay.
But again, there's no cussing. There's no like sexual content in that type of regard. But it's like again, it's like like it deals with Fuck, how do I describe
certain topics that kids don't need to be seeing?
No, it's not necessarily that. It's just like I just feel like that like the when you guys see it on Thursday, you all will know from it. You guys will again. It's not very in your face about like that. It's like it wouldn't fit Cartoon Network, but it just feels like no, this show would not be good on Cartoon Network. It would have to be edited down. That's why why when you look at Young Justice for how it was on Cartoon Network versus HBO Max, there's a distinct difference. Because mature doesn't mean it has to be about cussing or whatever and so on. It can just be something as simple as that, weapon smuggling, for example, or there could be, just showing, the concept of a character dying or whatever.
Well, they've also said too that the Cape Crusader is a more of a darker show.
Very much. So.
Yeah, I get the kids would be like relaunching that, but like they're not in the mood to relaunch shit. They're in the mood to sell shit.
The thing was, Kids WB was not even that big to begin with. Like it was like it was barely a block on the CW, and then like it was gone, like almost like like after the CW was launched.
Yeah, so they have no reason to do that. Trey in the chat.
This is true. Yeah.
They still have June coming out. I think they're definitely banking on that, and they're banking on Aquaman 2 doing well because the first film did well. Obviously Barbie as well, but I honestly don't see Aquaman doing half as good as what it did. I think it'll be lucky to reach 400 million, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
I just don't see it right now.
Based on that trailer that came out this past week for Dune Part 2, holy shit. Like, they should have waited to show that trailer because it was so good. I feel like it's going to, like, if that would have came out closer to, say, release, like, say, September, October for, like, tickets on sale, that'd be the trailer you do tickets on sale because of how amazing that trailer is. I don't know why they put it out randomly in June. I don't understand. That makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, the first June did, I believe, like 400 million overall.
Same day and date as HBO Max, so it still did that well. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's similar to the Batman, right?
No, the Batman did 700 million.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah, the Batman did really well.
Oh, wow, that did amazing. I don't know why in my head I must be thinking of
if the Batman made 400 million, something's wrong.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, I'm thinking of a different film. Sorry, guys. But June, I guess they're thinking, oh, can we get that and more because there's more hype now? Maybe.
Well, people are also saying they put it out to kind of to help with the damage of Flash. So
yeah, lots of damage control. Also, Superman announcement after the Flash.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that was because of the potential actor strike.
Yeah, definitely as well. But yeah, guys, that pretty much does it. So this is a bit of a shorter stream. We had our main topics. Obviously, we went through them. I think they were somewhat interesting, but there wasn't too much news this week. Obviously, last few weeks been jam-packed. Superman Lois last week. The Superman announcement was insane. And yeah, so we'll see what next week holds for us. And for now, thank you, Andy. Thank you, Chainsaw, for joining the stream. Thanks to everyone who has been watching us live and everyone watching afterwards. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, so for now, go check out Andy, go check out Chainsaw on their respective Twitter and different platforms because they're all over the place. Yes. But yeah, thank you guys.
Because Elon Musk hates us all.
Yeah, that's
that's true.
Limiting Twitter.
That is true. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.